Getting onto the Empress card.
Can I ask a question, Laura?
Yes,
In the mystery card, what's the scroll that she's holding with the word Torah on it?
it doesn't matter. I've got rid of that in the new book because the word Torah or Rota, you'll also see it on the Wheel of Fortune. And that's a reference. Thank you for the question, by the way. It's a reference back to the 1800s when there was a very strong connection with, ooh, what we're doing is kind of evil. It's kind of bad. Ooh, let's dabble a little bit in devil worship, shall we? So in that instance, the people of Judaism were demonized, as had happened all the way through Europe, as is happening, interestingly, now, when the decisions that are being made to do with country and war have got nothing to do, per se, with a person's religion, as we know. So what we're looking at when it's got Torah on there, it's the idea of tarot or rota, which is another one you'll see on the Wheel of Fortune as well. Okay. And the equal arm cross, of course, has got to do with the four elements. But the bottom line, honestly, don't waste your time with that. It's like trying to work out whether the Marseille cards are the original tarot. None of that's what this could come from the future. This is a language of pictograms. It could come from the future. We know about the Mobius veil. We know that we haven't come from one thing to another. It doesn't always work that way. But it's excellent that you've asked the question. So what I've done with all of these, with the new book that's coming out, is, for example, she's got the symbol of Venus on that little shield there. I'm doing the Fibonacci sequence. It says more about the idea of what we're doing about the idea of spiralic time, about the understanding that nothing goes in a straight line and there is no such thing as a straight line, which is why the Masonic orders kept everything really secretive for a while, because they sort of had the gift of the straight line. But when you look at a straight line under an electronic microscope, it's not straight. It has mountains and valleys and curves and mountains and valleys and curves and mountains and valleys and curves. This is also why within Masonic traditions, the capstone was considered, even within mystical orders, as what's called ipsissimus. Okay, so the Empress card can be anything. Let's not get into humans with any of this, really. Anything that is beautiful. So beautiful in some people's minds is safe. But beauty can be very dangerous. Like death cap mushrooms are beautiful. But you need to know that they're a death cap mushroom. It can be dangerous, like the cruel tradition of bound feet is considered beautiful in Japan or in China. So there are several traditions that make people beautiful. I mean, like the big duck lips at the moment in fashion. Now, it's also more than that, because it's also fetid, F-E-T-I-D, the corruption of rot, and putrescence, olfactory reaction. For example, if you smell a rotting piece of meat, you're going to have a reaction. But what's happening in that rot is an entire life support system. There is bacteria, there's enzymes, there's proteins, there's a whole lot going on in the background. And we as humans think of ourselves as separate to that. Okay. Now it represents hospitality and the hospitality industry, catering, consensual beauty, from fashion industry through cosmetics, cosmetic surgery, and the inevitability of death. When shown as a place, the climate is always tropical. It's fecundity, it's pregnancy of any kind, from biological to the conception of a project or artistic endeavor. Biologically, it represents the womb or breasts. It represents the corpse, but not death per se. It represents sense, sights, sensory, and oral pleasures and decadence. We're not doing threes tonight, okay? We're going to do Stargate maps for each of you. But I do want to mention that if you see these two together, the Empress and the High Priestess card, or the Empress and Mystery together, if you haven't had an opportunity, particularly if it comes with the Magician card, if you haven't had an opportunity to read the whole of the Nag Mammadi library, please look up the Thunder Perfect Mind. You all know the history behind the Nag Mammadi library? Anybody wants to question that, please do so. Okay. The Nag Hammadi library, I'm pretty sure if I recall off the top of my head, the Nag Hammadi library is named after Nag Hammadi. So in approximately 1947, a goat herd in Nag Hammadi, which is Upper Egypt, found a canopic jar, a big clay jar, buried. He took it home to his house, and his mother went, "Oh, firewood." So she started to burn some of the scrolls, which were parchment, by the way. The goat herd got savvy, and he thought perhaps this is more than just firewood. And he took the jar and the contents of the jar to a curator in Cairo of antiquities and found out that the scrolls within it were approximately 2,000 years old, which would put them at around the time of the diaspora in Jerusalem. It's also around the period of time when you had a mystical tradition, not the Assayan, but a mystical tradition on the border between Judaism and Christianity. A lot of the scrolls have been obscured or obfuscated by the Catholic Church, by the papacy, and they've been hidden away. We know that there were a lot more than have been disclosed. It's worth looking at the whole book because in there is a story called the Book of Sophia. And Sophia, of course, is a Greek word meaning wisdom. And the word Chava or Chaya, Chiaih, is the same as the meaning of Sophia. And on your tree of life, that's Chokmah. I don't know them all at the moment. I could look up just a section of them so that you can understand what I'm talking about. I'll just see if I can find it here. I'll only do a little bit because it goes on for 12 pages. I was sent forth from the power, and I have come to those who reflect upon me, and I have been found among those who seek after me. Look upon me, you who reflect upon me, and you hearers hear me, and who are waiting, take me to yourselves, and do not banish me from your sight. I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I'm the wife and the virgin. I am the mother and the daughter. I'm the members of my mother, and I am the barren one, and many are her sons. And it goes on and on and on. She says, I am Alpha and Omega. I am first and the last. And anybody who's done the Kabbalistic workings know that this is really, really important. It's associated with Binah on the tree, which is connected to Saturn. Because we're going to cover the Stargate tonight, which is the tree of life, it's well worth remembering that the paths, as you move through the tree into the deepest part, the path between Binah and Chokmah is the Empress card, and the path between Tiferet, which is the self or the sun, and Keter, which is the star, is called the High Priestess card or mystery. So these two intersect at a place on the tree called Da'at, D-A''ATH, which is Dolet Aleph Aleph Tov. That means esoterically first door, first earth. I know, I won't go any further. So it can represent pleasure. Now, as a place, tropical or fertile places, motherland, moisture, not wetness. With the Ace of Wands, this is pregnancy. With the Seven of Pentacles, or the Seven of Coins, depending on what you want to call it, it's an outrageous, overgrown garden. When you've got these, when you get these extra cards out, please put them together and see how I can pick this. It's sort of really obvious. Nothing I'm doing is stuff that you actually have to remember. You've actually just got to look at the cards and you'll see it. Okay. With the Strength card, it's lush regions like in Australia, Kakadu and the Northern Territory. With the Tower, it's going to be volcanic regions. So that's going to be like Japan and Hawaii, for example. With the Hermit card, this is Nepal and parts of South America. Now the Empress card with the Eight of Pentacles, that's your work card, people. with the Eight of Pentacles is anything from cooking and to the preparation of a body for internment or cremation, to sex work, that which represents beauty from a nail technician to a plastic surgeon to a cocktail waiter. Just when this one comes up with the work, you just got to know that it's yummy. With the Devil card, the Nine of Swords, or the Ten of Swords, it can represent a person who suffers for the sake of appearance or who is physically ill as a result of breast or uterine illness. It doesn't have anything to do with, for you guys there, it has nothing to do with your testes or your sperm count. That'll be different. Now, with the Moon card, it can represent disillusion with appearances and or hormonal imbalances. With the Five of Coins, or the Five of Pentacles, which is your poverty card, and the Nine of Swords, can you see them in your brain if you're used to the journey cards? Can you see them in your brain? Okay. So with the Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords, it can be an eating disorder like bulimia. With the Devil card and the Ten of Cups, it's obesity or gluttony. With the Ace of Swords and the Emperor, it can represent incision or implant in relation to the female body, from IVF to cosmetic intervention. And other cards around it will indicate which ones. Okay.